Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy New Year. Um, Dude, pumped to be here, pumped to get back to it. Took 2 weeks off, something like that, for the holidays, and it was much needed. So we kind of at the gym anyways at PSKC, we kind of go strong, clear kind of through this to Christmas Eve, and then last couple years we've experimented with just kind of like really kind of taking that week off in between Christmas and New Year's, like more of an open gym format. Um, but it's we're kind of worried about doing that because we always kind of pride ourselves on like open all the time. But you know what? Like it was awesome. It was something good. Um, and we're pumped to be there. Happy New Year to you guys, Lori as well. Pumped to see you. Yeah, countdown, right? Right? Like, yeah, I figured out how to punch a couple buttons behind the scenes here, and we got it going. So today's show, it's not going to be like a full-on, super long one. It might be hell, who knows? We can do whatever we want, but we're going to talk about everything that kind of went down in last year, and kind of more importantly, take a deep dive into what's going on in 26, and kind of get you guys fired up for everything that we got going on. But without going too much further, I see our special guest is done brushing her hair and putting her lipstick on, and so we're gonna add her to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome the one and only Emily Kaplan. How are you, ma'am?
Oh, Dale, that's like my favorite walk-on song. Trying to get this rat's nest to be straight. Okay, here we go.
I feel you. My grooming procedure is very in depth and lengthy as well.
Everybody should know you asked me to do this about 5 minutes ago. So,
In true fashion. Hey, stop what you're doing and come on the show real fast.
happy to be here with you always. And I feel like we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So it's an exciting update.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of pinged the team earlier today, just kind of go over some general highlights for upcoming 26. But you kind of want to start with like maybe a quick year in review? I know it's like,
great idea. Sure.
I remember last time you were on here, I showed you a picture from when we were all in Arizona.
It's still honestly that like I feel like we all talked about that after that show, because it was like it is really wild to me. I like just how much we did in a year, and you know how fast the time seems to have gone. Like it's very hard to reconcile. I mean, I think that's a good sign, but I think this year's we're not slowing down.
No. Yeah, that photo seemed like it was like from 5 years ago, and I was like, no, that was 8 months ago.
That I know. It was I don't think it was even a year from today.
No, not at all. So yeah, so we kind of kicked everything off at Greg's literally a year ago. And then that was kind of like our little chance for an all hands meeting with everybody on staff at the time.
Yeah.
Of which we didn't even have Academy staff at that.
I hired Pete that weekend.
Yeah. So Pete shows up and asks very intelligent questions during Greg's seminar.
He'd been there. I mean, he came to Atlanta. He'd put in his time. He actually was the first, when we announced Broken Science, I don't know if you know this, he was the first person to reach out to me on Twitter. I didn't know Pete at all. And he was like, hey, I have no idea what this is, but I want in on it.
Yeah.
And kind of like you. I mean, you were planting the seeds way early. But that's a good way to get someone's attention. Come to their events, show an interest, offer to help, right? It's never a bad thing.
Be first, be fast. Yep.
Pete's a perfect addition. I mean, he really is it's a perfect person to be leading the academy. I think, his biology background is obviously really important in developing all the material and being able to help train everybody. His experience as a, flow master at CrossFit, like his ability to present complex information, like it wasn't like Pete was wearing me down. I think we both had recognized that he was a good fit for it. Actually, it was Jen. I love a good wife in Atlanta who took me aside, and she was like, you really need to hire him. And I was like, girl, I know, I'm working on it. And she was like, no. I think you really need him. And I was like, I got you. I hear you. Got it. Noted.
Yeah.
And they are definitely a team effort. I would love to get Jen more involved in things too. She's a doctor and brilliant and really helped us a lot with the type 2 diabetes class, which we also launched this year, which is doing really well. We haven't done any promotion around it. It's only $150, but it really gives you a whole history of type 2 diabetes. We know, the majority of the country is pre-diabetic. This is something everybody needs to familiarize themselves with. And the history is really important to that, in part because it was low carb that was used to treat type 2 diabetes before we had the introduction of insulin. And so once you get into that context, you start seeing how these things develop and how the current pharmaceutical protocols are just designed to help manage it, but not even really control it. I mean, they'll tell you out the gate, we're going to add more and more medication over time. And we have Lori here. We have affiliates that are like, no, like you don't have to just manage it. We can actually reverse it. And we can work with you to do that. So I'm really proud of that class. I mean, I'm really proud of all of our classes, but that one isn't very, I think, involved and in depth, and really gives you an idea of like, how do we get this wrong? And like, why aren't people given options, which is the name of the game with everything we do with Medfix, is trying to get this education to people so that they realize like, there's no conspiracy theory. There's no, it really is about financial incentives driving the medical care you get. And if you don't want to be on that path, you don't have to be. And certainly from a preventative standpoint, there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the gym that will ensure you don't need to go to the doctor for these chronic diseases. And I feel obviously, this very passionately that like people don't have that information. And if we can be a vehicle to help coaches provide that information and provide the support and the training to help people, we are going to drive more change than any other initiative I can imagine being involved in. So I'm extremely proud of the team working on those things, and the offerings we have this year will only be more. But I think, to recap, like last year at this time, let's just call a spade, right? Like we said, we're going to open this affiliate program. We didn't really know what we were doing. We knew that the community was asking for it. We knew, Greg's non-compete had expired, and he and I had obviously been talking about doing something like this for years. But I think, those first, when we opened it up to the first 100, which, weren't 100, we invited 100 and we had like 80 or something that we followed through with, and that followed through with us. And I think, that they were our beta testers. Like that's the best way to explain it, because we didn't really know what were we going to offer and what did people need and how could we support the affiliates in ways that were, obviously in line with Greg's philosophy of the affiliate model, but also adding on to that, we knew everybody coming to us knew movement, right? So even though we had the ability to teach movement, and we do, 20% of the seminar is focused on energy pathways and movement, and what we call our avatar section, which is really my favorite, where you get a avatar of somebody who you have to learn how do you scale and how do you train this person and help them. But we didn't know. I had spent Christmas vacation like trying to get all the material together. It was like kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I was like MIA. I mean, Greg would call me and he'd be like, can you just take a break? Because I feel like you're going to go insane. Like it took me like years and years to put all my material together, and you're putting so much pressure on yourself. And I was like, I have to get it done, because I felt so strongly we couldn't have affiliates and not have something to offer them. And so we really did warp speed to the seminar, to the Cambridge conference, right? Mm-hmm. And that was so valuable, because it had really been like Greg and Bob and I in a hole trying to figure out the material. And then, I sent you guys the draft of one of those, which was like 250 pages. I think nobody made it through all of it. And then we had everybody gather in Cambridge, and the feedback we got was amazing. And it really did help shape things. And so those initial scripts are quite different now. And at every seminar, Pete goes through and redoes them and figures out like what's landing, what's not, what are people still confused by, what's the application of this. I mean, your development of Spark all came from that feedback. And so I'm very indebted to those founding members, because they took a leap of faith on us. Mm-hmm. And, they knew on some level it was a sort of a loyalty payment, right, to Greg, that they wanted to be involved in what Greg was doing. But we hadn't told them really anything that we were offering, because we wanted to spend the year designing things that we thought they wanted. And so we had to get them on board to initiate that conversation and learn where are you in your, professionalization of yourself as a coach, as a gym owner. What does that look like? What do you need support with? I mean, a lot of the support you'd offer people as a new affiliate, they don't need, right? I mean, you guys have been in business for 10, 15 years, 20 years. I'm not going to go in and tell you how to run your gym. You know how to do that. Mm-hmm. So same with fitness. We're not going to go in and tell you how to squat. You know how to do that. right? So that would just be a weird kind of cash grab and, competition with CrossFit. We didn't want any of that. And so we really were very thoughtful with the curriculum and seminar. And then also, as we've built the affiliate program, what are supports we can provide that you guys need and that you don't currently have, right? And then that it forms the basis of the community. And I think we're there. I mean, I think I'm really proud of how that's evolved, how patient people have been with us, and how forthcoming they've been about how, like, I don't need that, but I would love this, right? And so, I mean, I think you can talk a little bit about the development of Spark, but I think that's a really cool onboarding program that allows anybody who takes the class, who becomes an affiliate, to go and implement the curriculum right away and modify it however they want. We're not giving you a dictum of this is how you have to do it, right? But it is a framework that you could plug and play pretty exactly, and start having pretty amazing success, which we're already seeing. I mean, that Spark program, obviously, we relied on a lot of people who are affiliates to tell us how they were doing it and then scale it out. So it would be a more broad class. But why don't you talk? I mean, you really were, instrumental together.
Yeah. So to, touch upon your earlier points, this all came from the idea of affiliates of the foundations course is amazing, but we're struggling on how to deploy that at the tactical level inside of the gym. And so based upon that, we got a core little group together and said, okay, well, how does this look like? And kind of a bigger macro issue is what does a MetFix affiliate look like? And how is that similar? How is it different from CrossFit or any other sort of, micro gym that people are running? And essentially we landed on, hey, the fitness methodology through CrossFit that Greg created is unparalleled. We're not going to try to tinker with that because it's undisputed. But what we can do is offer a more focused approach on the metabolic health, nutrition, and lifestyle that is hard to do in a 60-minute class that you have. So when we say folks are doing MetFix, what we mean by that is you are offering something above and beyond your normal class setting, right? How you do that, same answer as always, it's up to you. But through Spark is a template guide on how you can do that. And so that's kind of how it came to be. And then from there, we took chunks of the foundations course and figured out how to distill that down into a 4-week package for affiliates to deploy. And that's where we're at right now. So we, as far as global launch is concerned, we're in what we call week 0 or pre-launch. And everyone's just kind of figuring out how to do the marketing and promo and awareness of what the program is to offer kind of two pathways. One is a retention tool for members who may have been there 10, 12 years already. And what you'll notice with those folks, and I'm speaking from personal experience, is as they kind of evolve in age, their goals and priorities evolve in age along with that. They get more serious about, hey, my doc said my A1C is not trending in the right direction. What's that? Why is that? What's that? Because along with other biomarkers indicative of true health. So Spark answers that. And more importantly, Spark answers the question of what you're consuming and how that impacts your health. And so we want to be able to step in there as a preventative measure and kind of give folks the opportunity to reprioritize and retool what they're looking for.
Then I would just add to that. I mean, the other thing is that it's a revenue driver, right? And so I think it's like, we haven't really talked a lot about this. Again, it's sort of like the business side of things, which I think is a less interesting to us, right? But it is obviously really important. And I think, we've been hearing from a lot of affiliates that they're charging more for their MetFix affiliation. So if you're a CrossFit gym, you charge, $120 a month, but your MetFix affiliation membership is $170 a month. And you get these added resources on top of it, or you get smaller group training for your MetFix class. So, I mean, Lori is a great example. She's been doing, work with elderly, masters athletes, whatever you want to call them, who wouldn't normally come to her gym. Or she did this women in strength program that was for middle-aged, perimenopause, menopausal women who are really thinking about their bones and have probably never lifted a barbell in their lives. But you bring them in as a cohort of people as a MetFix class, which we call special populations classes, and they really run the range from, kids to seniors to people with various illnesses or preconceived notions of risk that they're worried about. And you create a micro community within your gym, which is doing two really important things from the business side. It is bringing in leads you never had before, right? These are people who are not coming into your gym because they're not coming in for the gym specifically. They're coming in for lifestyle help, and you're charging more for it. So it's a double sort of, for me, I mean, I know I say this at all the seminars and stuff, but like when you look at the statistics, 80% of the country is not going to the gym. And those are the people that we will have the most impact with and that need us the most. So if you're a professional coach, what is driving you? It's probably not financial first and foremost. If you've been in business for 15, 20 years, right? It is getting real change and saving lives. So this program and the way we're working on all the external branding is really about getting those people who need us the most, who you will derive the most personal satisfaction from as a coach. But you also will be able to charge more because you're going to do smaller things for them. I mean, potentially, right? And so Spark has 3 tiers, and I still want to build out the top tier a little bit more, which is based a lot on when I had my gyms, how I ran things. And, I had 150 members and was able to do this with everyone. So I think it is manageable, but the higher touch point you have, the more you can charge and the better your results will be, which solves a bunch of problems because personally you feel great about what you're doing. It drives you to get up in the morning and open the gym and be there and be present. But it also is, you're getting these people that wouldn't normally come as your first cohort. You get some massive transformations. Like, that's your marketing. Most people will go tell everybody, and everybody they know will ask them, where did you do this? How did you get fit? I didn't, there are friends that are still sedentary or sick or worried about being sick. They're going to bring them in because they still want to be friends with them and they want them to be healthy too, right? That is an incredible benefit that I think we need to do a better job marketing, because I think it's one of these things that people are often not realizing, even with like Instagram ads or whatever. You're targeting the same people that Instagram knows have, responded positively in the past. That's how the algorithm works. You get a couple people who respond to you, and then the algorithm thinks, oh, this is the right demo. There's less like honing down on who you want to target, and more they're looking at who is going to want this ad. And so by broadening it out and doing these more specially, targeted micro, communities within the gym, you are literally opening the door to a lead gen that you never have had before. And we see that over and over. So I think Lori's now done 2 of these classes. She should weigh in for the Women in Strength, and they sell out every time. We have an affiliate who I love in the UK who's hysterical, who went on Instagram and did like a live thing where she was like, I know you're all on GLP-1s, and like, I'm not going to judge you for it, but you better come down here and lift weights with me or your bones are going to go away. Sold out her class in a day or 2. Those people aren't coming to your gym if they're not invited or you're not reaching out to them. And I mean, you've done those great town halls where you talk about, you bring up something like, oh, how to eat through the holidays or something. And so people don't feel like, oh, I'm going into this intimidating environment that I'm not, we always hear like, I need to get in shape before I go to the gym. This is actually giving you an opportunity to go to those people and be like, nope, you don't have to be in shape. In fact, I am specialized in the people who are not in shape.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because we're getting ready to, our first Spark session will be next week. And there's a guy who owns, it's called Market Street Cafe. It's literally.
Wait, let me just interrupt you. When you say Spark program, you mean like you are hosting calls with everybody who's doing the Spark program?
No, so this is like the Spark ad I'm doing at my gym.
Okay. All right. Because you are also that service.
Yeah. I'll get into that in just a sec. But yeah, okay. So as far as like reaching different audience segments or pieces of the market you may not already have, so the guy that owns a cafe that goes to my gym, and he was like, hey, can you do the Spark course at the cafe, and we'll do it after hours? And I was like, yeah, dude. First of all, it's got heat there, so people are going to be way more comfortable. But it's just, and he's like, we'll put flyers up in the cafe, and so we're going to incorporate like meal options he has there to kind of show like what is a protein, fat, carb as it kind of dovetails into the curriculum. But it's just an opportunity to kind of get outside of your gym to reach a different segment. And eventually the goal will be to take those people who aren't members and eventually kind of get them to do both, like to continue to stay on the nutrition stuff that we offer and along with getting them into classes down the road. But from a MetFix affiliation standpoint, we started a working group to kind of coincide with the launch. So we've had 2 meetings already. The third one will be tomorrow. Yeah, today's Tuesday. Yeah, tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow. So it's a working group cohort. And we have about 20 folks who show up regularly. It's done via Zoom. And for affiliates listening to this, you can go back to the resource library and get the previous recordings. But you talked about revenue driver. So one of the discussions we had last meeting was, what are you charging? And so literally everybody went through, I'm looking like going back to the tiles on the screen, and everybody just went through and said what they were charging. And what that does is just provides different frameworks for how they came up with the price due to the different tiers that they're doing. And we even got into discussion of, okay, well, my monthly rate is this, so we wanted to do a percentage of that due to the labor it would cost to do, so it's not just top down. That's the most important part. It's a asymmetrical discussion of current owners doing this in real time, which is very, very unique, I think.
Yeah, and it just allows us all to learn from each other. I mean, best practices is the name of the game, and we have so many talented affiliates who have great ideas, who are implementing programs, and they're not no one is like hoarding the information. Everybody is like, oh, let me teach everybody how to do it the way I did it, because I've already done, from sharing their marketing materials to talking about the implementation of their programming. Yep. It's all available to the entire community, which is another thing I'm very proud of. I think there's none of this like I'm competitive with another MetFix box. We all know there's more people that we can serve than we have capacity to. So the more people in the game helping, the better for all of us.
Yeah, and the ideas that are getting kicked around, like here's a real world example, is somebody said, well, a member wants to do it but can't make all the sessions. So then we're like, well, do it on Zoom, record it, and for anybody that can't make it, they can be sent the recording the very next day. And I was like, damn, that's a great idea. And so we threw that into our marketing this week, and we had 2 people sign up just because of the fact that they knew they couldn't make this session, all of them, but if they were still going to be given the information, they registered and signed up anyway. So
yeah, and I mean, I think that is a perfect alignment to the larger theme of making the program accessible to people.
Yep.
So you've got to figure out like what are people's barriers to entry, and then work on those. And so I think if it's like you've got the Spark program at a certain time and people can't make it, like figure out a way to make it accessible to more people. It's usually those ideas are already out there and we can learn from each other.
Sure. But yeah, so it's going great. Like I said, the next working group will be tomorrow, and what we'll discuss is kind of lessons learned from promo marketing that folks have done and gone through, and then the second half of it will be preparation for week 1. So we're excited to get that going. And like I said, if you can't make that because you got class or coaching or clients, it'll be recorded and dropped into the resource library.
And then I think, that's a perfect segue into like one of the big things that we have coming out in the next, month, 2 months, is we have redone the resource library. And it's been a massive undertaking to organize all the research, all of the, resources we have, from the journal clubs to the webinars to the stuff we've created, and also all the stuff we've curated. So when people are like, oh, I have somebody who's come in, they have high cholesterol, they're very worried about saturated fat, we have like an arsenal of information for you to be able to print out, go through with them. We have some backgrounders that are really useful. And that will all be in our new app, which is coming out. I'm in the process of starting the testing. And then I think the goal is to have that out in February at some point. And that app is like a game changer. I mean, it really has everything that we have on our site with a better user interface integrated, and then like lots of fun things. So like you're going to be able to give it to your members and have them do their food tracking. They can take pictures of their food. That it's actually a really good macro breakdown of what they're eating just by taking a photograph. So again, like I think like what's the barrier to entry? You ask somebody who's never tracked their food before to log how many, grams of fat are in a half a teaspoon of olive oil, like forget, they're not going to do it. But if you can just take a picture of your plate and log it, and the coach can see it in real time and evaluate every week, like how, what your breakdowns are, it just changes the game. And then I think the thing Greg is very excited about is we have this challenge section, which I liked because I feel like we have all these N=1 experiments happening where people are doing self-experimentation by doing something a little different than what the standard of care models are. And within the competition, as an affiliate owner, you'll be able to do a nutrition challenge, or, it's limitless. The consistency challenge, make sure you show up 3 days a week, right? And you can onboard all of your members. You can pick like specific cohorts you want to do. You can challenge another affiliate to a competition. You can open it up to the world. So if you have a big email list and you want to run your nutrition challenge or your workout challenge or your accountability challenge or your sleep challenge or whatever through our app, you can do that and you can charge for it. And it's again, another revenue generator for work you may already be doing, but the app just facilitates all of that in a really easy to use way. And Greg has a challenge. Greg wants to do his own challenge. So there will probably be a Greg Glassman challenge, which he will run. I'm going to do a carnivore and sauce challenge because I think we need to talk more about sauces with carnivore to make it lasting. And we have one that he and I have like joked and played around with for years, which is a squat a day challenge where you basically, we haven't figured out the amount of money, but Greg's thing was if you say like, you don't want to work out, you don't have time, whatever, you just squat once a day. So day 1, you do 1, day 2, you do 2. And if you put $100 down and you get to 100 days, you're at 100 squats, you get your money back. But if you don't, we get to keep your money. So the incentive is essentially like just you get people moving, right? And so I think we could probably do. GoRuck is such a great partner of ours, and I love how supportive they've been. They've been sending all of our affiliates free kits. Like it's amazing how aligned I think our missions are in terms of getting people moving. And so hopefully we'll have some rucking challenges, but it's going to be really fun and it's a great way. And so the affiliates have their own login where they can manage coaches and they can, schedule classes and manage a lot of member features. And then individual coaches can sign up for a subscription plan where they get access to some of that stuff also. If you've taken the MetFix seminar, you'll get better access than if you haven't, right? But we really want this to be a community-based thing. And my ultimate goal at the end of the day is that we also will have some of the doctors from the medical society be able to oversee some of these challenges or experiments or whatever we want to call them. So if you have a group of people who are doing carnivore for a month, 6 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever, and they're tracking blood stuff, the doctors can then go and publish that information. And so it's hard to get IRB approval for doing some of the stuff that we all do regularly. So it's not always represented in the literature because it's hard to do the experiment. But if we're all doing the experiment anyway, it gives the doctors this huge leg up to be like, hey, I can go publish this research. And I think that's going to be profound in time in terms of us being able to get the effectiveness of our programming out, as well as undoing some of these conventional norms that are, established but aren't clinically significant, and whereas ours really are. And I think the app is going to be a game changer in terms of the classes that we're on. We have like 12 classes coming out in the new year, everything from keto and the professional athlete. So looking at studies that have been done about athletes who are fat adapted and being able to switch back and forth and how to use carbs as a performance enhancing drug right before competition. That's coming out. We have the Women in Health one, which has been a labor of love for the last 2 years for me. We have a ROS class, reactive oxygen species class. It really goes into a deep dive if people are interested. We have the law enforcement class, which is really for anybody who's in a stressful job. We have so many amazing classes coming on, and the affiliates will get access to those. I think they get a couple free a year on the app, and then they can pay for more. We should talk about the seminar. So we have 4 seminars this year coming out, but we also are doing private seminars. And the reason for that is like we were sort of just randomly picking locations based on like who wanted to host us. But what we realized was that a lot of people were like, oh, could you come to me? And so we came up with this idea that was basically like, if you can get 10 people to sign up for a seminar, we will come to you. We'll go anywhere. And so the affiliates will all be able to have a link that they share, and that allows people to sign up. Their credit cards aren't charged until there are 10 or more people who have signed up. And we'll help manage all of that, obviously, and figure out about dates. But it makes it really easy for anybody who wants to host us to put the feelers out, get people to agree to come, and then we schedule it. Super easy. And we have Seattle. Greg and I are both going to be. Greg wants to go to all of them. I don't think I can go to all of them, but he's pretty revved up to be there. I know we're both planning on being in Seattle, so I think there's spots left for that if people are interested. But the 4 that are listed here are the 4, sort of confirmed, and then the rest will be done based on demand.
Yeah, you're talking 4 in the U.S., and then I think we have 4 international as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we are moving Switzerland. Oh yeah, it's been updated. Switzerland's in August now.
Yeah, and they kind of break out obviously too. We're going West Coast first. We're talking U.S. of course. Go to the West Coast, and then of course we'll be in the heart of it all in the beautiful downtown Columbus, Ohio, at Rogue in September. And then this is kind of the cool thing at MetFix Jax, and I'm sure obviously with GoRuck HQ being there, we'll do something cool. And that's kind of close to Veterans Day, so I'm sure we'll be able to do a big kind of event there too. So
what we've been doing, I mean, like we've been doing these free events the day before that usually involve a ruck and some talks that are open to the community. So if you're an affiliate and you want to host us too, it's a great way of introducing MetFix to members. So it doesn't just have to be affiliate owners. It can be like coaches in the area. Anybody who's interested in MetFix can come and learn a little bit about MetFix and meet the team and the community and, sort of get more involved the day before the seminars. And I think we're going to do that at most of these ongoing.
Yeah. And I forgot New York as well in springtime.
And then we have the health conference in May, which
I'm glad
you speaker of that. But we have a really incredible lineup of speakers. I mean, I'm very excited about everybody we got. We have some phenomenal women's health people. Dave Feldman's going to come and talk about his cholesterol trial. Dr. Drew is coming. It's going to be, I think, really a special group. Siegfried's going to come. So it's sort of like our posse extended, and it's really limited. So it's 200 people. Most of these conferences are like 500, 1,000 people, and we limited it intentionally so that everybody gets to meet everybody. There's going to be a lot of networking opportunity for affiliates. We have some cool, partnerships and sponsors and stuff like that coming out this year too, and I'm sure they'll all be represented there. So the health conference tickets are on sale now, and I hope that's on the website.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now. As you see me like not paying attention, that's exactly.
I think it's on there, but
was it hidden? I think because
we did it as a discount before the new year for affiliate owners and medical society members.
Yeah,
but I think it's now open to the public as of Jan 1.
Gotcha. Okay.
But again, that's like 200 spots, and it's probably not even 200 because of the team and everything. It's going to be more like probably 175, 170 that we'll sell tickets for. And then, hopefully we find ways of including those lectures and stuff at some point in other ways. But for right now, we're not making anything public.
Got it. Here we go. Bam.
There it is. The Unbreakable Health Summit.
Beautiful Miami in May 30th, 31st.
Right after my birthday. We can call it my birthday party.
How old will you be then? Are we allowed to say? I was going to see if you're going to fall for it.
Yeah, nice try.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, so it'll be when that kind of got kicked out to affiliates, there's a lot of owners that scarfed that up already. So it'll be going quick. And I think like in addition to the health conference, and Karn's doing a great job of putting that together with the right sponsors, it's just another opportunity to get together. Get together, work out, connect, learn. Like that's to me what these events are about. Obviously you're going to go for the information, but you're going to remember more from hanging out with each other and just having a good time is really, really what I like.
Yeah, we have 2 workouts scheduled. I think we have a ruck that we're hoping to do. I mean, there's going to be, I mean, again, it's like we're keeping it small so that everybody has time to interact with each other. There's going to be an affiliate panel where affiliates will be able to come and talk about, how they're implementing the information. But also, I mean, I just think like I'm such a geek about this stuff, but like the speakers that we have coming are speakers you cannot usually see in small groups. You really only can go and watch them in mega conferences. So to be able to hang out with them, they're there all weekend. Like it's going to be, I think, a very special, exciting, motivating conference.
Pumped.
Yeah.
So another thing is, there's some partnerships we have. There's some partnerships we're working on, which, I'm sure we're not going to spoil that. But to me, that was kind of a cool thing. Like, obviously, you kind of mentioned the GoRuck partnership. That was huge, mainly because they saw the need for taking care of affiliates, and that was such a great one. The other one that's not really been publicized is all the Daily Fix programming is on PushPress.
Oh yeah.
That's what my gym uses for our
and be on the whiteboard.
Yeah, and be on the whiteboard. And I think we're in talks with Wodify as well. So we want to get the Daily Fix on as many platforms as possible. And so what that does, like how we utilize it at our gym. So we know people are checking in at primarily to see what the workout of the day is ahead of time, and then we just have another block right underneath there that has the recipe of the day. So we're just pushing that nutrition information to them at all times. And it's just a super cool, easy way to do that. And you can also, you get the recipe, you get the workout of the day, and you get the article of the day. So people right within the app can be looking at the videos, going to the articles, and it's just another cool value add to your members.
And I should add, the app has the updated version of the Daily Fix. So you can go in and you can pick recipes for members. You can print grocery lists. Like it makes it way easier to use it as a tool with your members. You can also, the plugin will allow you to just, if you have programming because you use some other programming or you do your own programming, your website host link will be customized to what you want. So if you just want recipes or you just want the reading or you just want the workouts, you can do that. And I think, like we haven't made a big deal about this either, but the 2 people who primarily programmed at CrossFit for 20 years are the people who program for us, right? Without giving it, one of them would like to be called Pukey. So we'll just call him Pukey. But it's like, so the programming is excellent. It's like a continuation of everything that did happen over there too. So I think like our workouts aren't to be passed over. I think they're
yeah. That is a good point.
We focus so much on the nutrition side, but the movement side we obviously think is just as important, and that's why it's part of the Daily Fix.
Yeah, and if you fell in love with that programming, like circa, mid O's to the 15 to the teens, it's got that feel, but they're not just rehashed, right? So, he who shall not be named has done a really good job of taking his time. You can tell, like it's good. It's really unique, and thoughtful.
And he's the only person who Greg was like, "Who's going to do the programming?" And when I told him, he was like, "Oh, awesome, great, perfect. Yeah. That's the only person I would have do it."
He's tailor made for that, and I'm not going to mention him by name, but after getting to know him over the last however many year and a half, 2 years, you could see how that fits his unique skill set for attention to detail. He's not going to put something out there that is not a quality product. So
yeah, and I joke with him and Greg that it's like conducting a symphony. I never thought of it like that until I sort of saw a little bit more about how the sausage was made when Greg was explaining to me how he put the programming together. But it's really like you're thinking about a whole week or a month and how to break things up and how to put things together and how to reiterate movement patterns in the right way. Like there's a whole science to it that's really, it's far more complex than I ever gave it credit for as a participant.
Yep, for
which
sure.
Is nice. It allows you to just follow along and not have to think about all of that. But I think we spend so much time talking about the nutrition piece. And I think that movement piece is certainly there and important to acknowledge. There's a lot of work that goes into that.
Great. Anything else?
The only other thing is I would mention discounts. And I know we haven't also really publicized this, but my goal is that eventually the affiliate fee is justified through the discounts that we get for affiliates. And so we have a lot more of these partnerships that we'll announce and things coming along. But we have people come to us and say like, hey, can we give you $20,000 or whatever? And we'll give your affiliates a 10% discount off these products. And we don't want to be in the business of vetting products or pushing products onto affiliates. But our feeling is if they're of use to you all and we can get them for you at a discount, we will. But I don't want to take any money because it makes it look like we are now biased towards this product. So the answer to that was we are just telling these companies, if you want to give us 20 grand, apply that to the amount of money that you would discount the products. So no other company I've ever heard of will do this. It means that our affiliates will get bigger cuts, bigger discounts than anybody else is offering because we are not, as a company, taking a slice of that pie. We are passing it forward in the space of a discount directly to the affiliates. And I think that's really, for me, that's important philosophically because I want everybody to be really aware that everything we do is in the service of the affiliates. But it also means like there's no pressure. It's a list.
Yeah.
Companies that you can access discounts from. And if you choose to, great. And if you don't, we don't care, right? But it's available to you if you want it. And I think the hope is in time, those discounts end up being more than $2,000 a year. So when you look at how much money you're spending, the affiliation is actually like a savings, not a cost.
Yep. Yeah. And like, kind of close it out on the affiliation piece is, everything's kind of measured in return on investment. It's a relatively low barrier financially, but that doesn't mean we understand like $2,000 is $2,000, regardless of what your annual gross revenue is. And our whole goal is to make that a no-brainer. And we totally appreciate everybody that was there with us on year one that really helped guide and shape the offerings and the feedback and where we're going to go. But I'm just really, really excited for everything that's coming. It's been such a pleasure to deal with the folks every week, every day, really. And just very blessed to be in this position.
Yeah. And I think we should just say like affiliation is open to anybody because there was about how you had to be invited or whatever. And like, that's not true anymore. The people who were invited because we needed help building these things. Now we have built them. We feel we really have a valuable product to offer and we're offering it to everybody. And I think that's important to say outwardly because for that message got kind of confused. But the reason for that first 100 was because we didn't have anything. We literally had nothing. We didn't even have a seminar yet. And we needed them to tell us what was going to be a high value and be worth the money. And we spent the year listening carefully and developing those products. And now I think we have something that's really unbelievable. There's nothing else on the market. And I think because I'm in touch with all of these other fitness executives on a regular basis, they all want what we have. Everybody who's a trend forecaster in fitness, everybody who's looking at this market is trying to get into the chronic disease space. And many of them want a partnership with us because they don't have the education and they don't have the tools and the resources that we've already now just spent this year building. And so they're wanting to partner with us as an educational partner because we have it all. And so I think when you think of like, what is the future of fitness? One of the things that I always say is like, Greg solved for the workout piece. He solved for the fitness piece. And MetFix is solving for the rest. And combining those two together makes you a powerhouse, which is why, we see like Orange Theory and High Rocks and all of these places trying to figure out how do we tap that market? Again, it's this massive 80% marketplace that nobody is getting. We're getting them.
Yep.
And we're getting them really easily to come into the gym, to get great results, to tell their friends, to drive new revenue. We figured it out. And so I think, it's really interesting to me when people reach out to me and they're like, wow, what you guys are doing is incredible. We've been trying to figure out how to do that rather than us reinventing the wheel. Do you guys want to partner with us? And I think like we're going to be very careful about how we do that, which is, we'll have more to say on that in the future. But I think there are some great partnerships. I mean, sort of the same way that I think of us as like a partner with CrossFit in the sense that most of our affiliates are CrossFit gyms. So us working with other gyms is definitely not off the table. But I think my larger point is just that like we have been very well analyzed, received in the larger fitness marketplace as doing the thing that is the next step that will be the future of the way that people think about the gym. I mean, Lifetime I'm in touch with those guys. They've just launched this whole longevity program within Lifetime, and it's doing a lot of what we do without the sort of rigorous standards that we have because they're figuring it out as they go. So I think those are all for me, other points of validation in addition to what we're hearing from the affiliates that like, this is where the trend is going.
Mm-hmm.
We're ahead of it, which is, I think, really exciting and something the team needs to be very proud of because everybody has worked extremely hard over the last year to figure out what does that look like and how do we deploy it. And I think we're there.
Yeah. And it's a total reinvigoration for owners. I'm bitching that I gotta go through all the foundation notes for all the 4 weeks of Spark that I'm doing, but I don't remember the last time I've had to really kind of double down and look at. I won't say it's new material. It is new. It is new material, but the delivery of it, a new program, like it's a whole thing, and it kind of reminds me of 15 years ago of all the time, effort, and energy it took to just getting something off the ground. So I think that's a very understated piece that we offer as well. This is
one of the things I love is like how the feedback after the seminar is always like, damn, I wish I knew this earlier, right? Like this is so helpful and this is so important for me to know. And then they'll email me a month later and say like, my whole gym is reinvigorated. Like we've been doing the same thing for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's new things to talk about and the coaches are excited. And I'm like, of course it's trickling down. So the members are excited too. And I think this sort of continuing to professionalize the coach is core essential to us. And so to see it in application is really cool. And to see the energy that comes from it is obviously really important.
Yep. And, if you're out there and you're kind of focused on 3 key areas, fitness is obviously one. That's, the kind of the first how you got into this whole thing. But if you built your affiliate around fitness, education, and community service, that's exactly the kind of people we want on board who are just here to serve. Really is what it comes down to, and really don't take for granted what you're doing. It can be a lot. It can be stressful. It's very all consuming. And I literally just told myself this the other day. It was just like, dude, if you had a real job, do you know how bad that would suck? So don't take this for granted. And this is a message I have to continue to tell myself year after year. And it really helps me fire up to continue to push the rock up the hill and offer a service because we're not around. Nothing's guaranteed. And end of the day is you want to be able to write some special chapters in your life, and we want to be around those people.
And Brian said it in the chat really well, which is that it feels like everybody's friends. And I think that's part of what the affiliate community is so excited. I mean, it's so nice to spend time with them and have them all connect and everything, because I think there is a little bit of isolation that everybody feels doing this on your own in your corner of the world, and being able to have a larger community to tap into for best practices and just like support, I think is critical.
For sure. Well,
thank you, Dale, though. I think we should just take a moment and say thank you to you, because you have done a lot this year. You've come up with a lot of ideas, and you really are the heart of the affiliate program. And so I don't want to embarrass you, but I do feel really strongly that we're very lucky to have you and grateful for everything you've contributed this year. You should feel very proud.
Well, thank you. thank you very much. That means a lot, and I am very appreciative to hear that. But I fucking love it. So it's an honor. All right. Well, I gotta go because I got an affiliate call here in like 10 minutes. So I got to get on with the next step of my. Thank you for coming. Thank you for hopping on. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. And
I may or may not see you in DC. I don't know. If you make it out alive, I'll be there by the time you resurface.
I have a very unique birthday adventure coming up on Friday. So, God,
I'm coming in with help. I've got the extraction plan ready, so we're good. We'll get you out.
If I make it alive, I'll recap it on the next show for sure. All right.
Thanks, Dale.
Love you guys. Be good. Take care of each other, and we'll be in touch.